Let's talk Frank versus Tank, but let's be frank about one question in particular. The most important question to any fight, whether or not the underdog can win. Well, I always hate that question because anybody can win because anybody can get it. No, it's because anything is possible just about. The better question is whether or not we can gauge the probability of Frank actually pulling off a successful attempt at beating Tank. But before I go just a little bit in depth and expand on that question and that answer, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section because this is more of a gauge. I want to see how the community feels about this fight down in the comment section. Of course, I know there's some other fights that we want to see, but I think we will eventually get those fights. And I will do a fight simulation, and we obviously will do a breakdown Saturday night, and Subriel Matias will come as well. Now, hit that like button and let's talk science. Tank can lose rounds and he can be put in trouble in generally two situations. One is if he's facing a tough, durable, high output pressure fighter, Leo Santa Cruz, Isak Cruz. The danger there with that style and that set of attributes is obviously running eventually into that counter. Or the secondary situation is going up against someone with dangerous attributes. Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia. They are fast and powerful enough to slow him down, make him hesitate, and get to him subsequently. But once again, with patience, he will set up the right shot. The question for Frank is going to be, can he outbox Tank for one? I guess it's double questions. Can he outbox Tank? That's the first question. And then the second, can he survive? If the answer to both of those questions is yes, then the likelihood of him winning is significantly raised, and in fact, he should be the favorite. If the answer to either of those questions is no, then he's in a lot of trouble, because if he can get outboxed, then he can definitely get knocked out. But to the second part, even if he is outboxing Tank and he can't survive, he's going to eventually get caught and he will get put out. Since Tank is one of my favorite fighters to watch, I generally have a good idea for how he's going to approach things. He's very patient, very calculated, very relaxed. And like I said before, he can definitely outbox people, but he can definitely lose rounds. And I've seen a good amount of Frank, not relative to like some of my favorite people to watch, like, you know, Spence Crawford, Shakur, or Tank, or, you know, Uwe. I haven't seen as much of Frank compared to those people, but for Frank to win, footwork is going to be paramount. And when it comes to his defense, he already has a good active high guard, but he has to vary up a lot of his responses. He has to switch between ducking and smothering, backing up completely out of range, resetting, turning around, pivoting. He has to switch up the guards. He has to bring a lot to the table and switch up his patterns, because if he's static with his patterns, if he's predictable with his patterns, he will get lined up. And it doesn't matter how good he's fighting or boxing before that moment happens, but if he's not switching up his patterns, that moment will happen and he will lose and he will get knocked out. So yeah, I think when I do these breakdowns, it's going to be mostly centered around how Frank can approach this to find a path to victory, because that's more interesting to me, and I try to do breakdowns that interest me. So that's what we're going to be doing, and yeah, just be on the lookout for that. But before we get there, I do got to do some Muay Thai and I do got to do some kickboxing. So yeah, just be on the lookout. I will see y'all later.